training polling personnel during an election is one of the most avoidable tasks. Avoidable because, it's a large number of people who have to be trained, people who are coming from various parts of the public sector biosphere, in the sense that people come from the banks, from the panchayats, from the agriculture department, from the medical department, and a whole lot of government and semi-government institutions, many of whom have done elections earlier and some of them are new. The older ones don't want to listen, and the younger ones try to listen but are often downvoted. And usually it's a huge kind of a hall. I remember a cinema hall in a certain district, and it was so full and completely chaotic. Nobody was interested to understand what was happening. But it is important to understand, because if you don't follow the nuances, you don't know, for example, what to do with the companion to a blind person who is coming along, which is allowed under the law, but what are the forms to fill up, what are the procedures to be taken so that there is no infringement of the law. So what I was thinking is that how we could make these disparate people into listening, into understanding the poll process. We thought that what we will do is that we'll create a film with a professional, newscaster or professional actor, so that people would listen to him or her. So we started the search, but we very soon had to abandon it because it was advised to me, and very well-wishers advised to me, that we could not take any actor, existing, known face, which in turn draws attention among the polling officers in a training scenario. But he would probably be already a noted sympathizer of a political party. Then I thought of doing an animation film. But animation, it was 2008 that I'm talking of. 2008, the parliament elections of 2009 were just about to happen. I was the chief electoral officer of West Bengal, responsible for conducting it in the year that was to follow, and training of polling personnel with all the new innovations that the election commission kept on doing was a very important part of it. So in those days, in locally in Kolkata, so good 3D animation makers were not available. I was told that it would have to be taken to Hyderabad, and even then it would take months, and we didn't have months. We were talking of days and at best 1 or 2 weeks. And therefore, we thought again, we sat with a group of people, and somebody came up with an idea, somebody who is a writer other than being an officer, came up with an idea that we could use puppets instead and film it. So we went in search of a puppeteer, we got one, and we enacted with the help of Roopkala Kendra. Roopkala Kendra is a film training institute of the state government. We went to Roopkala Kendra. I met the director at her office, and she agreed to film for poll training using puppets. And this puppet, in this puppet, we created the character of Anandababu, who was supposed to be the presiding officer who would bring a disparate team, somebody from the bank, somebody from the agriculture office, somebody from the veterinary, people who did not know anybody, and he would gradually form a team, and before parting they would part as friends. And here was this with a black specs and a yellow jacket, and we created a persona of Anandababu. There's a small story behind the name. We thought of giving a neutral name. Again, the name has to be very neutral, but without a name it doesn't gel. So I had initially thought of Anando Biswas, when somebody pointed out that you can't do that because there is or was an MP to that name and it wouldn't be proper. So we used the universal honorific title in Bangla, which is Anandababu. So Anandababu and his team would make a presiding officer's team, and he would gently teach them how to tackle the problems as they occurred. And we made this and we got the approval of the Election Commission of India in Delhi, and we started showing it around, and it was a somewhat success. I wouldn't say a runaway success, but after the polling training by officers took place, usually in a large chaotic hall, we would show this film, and there would be quite a bit of attention. Everybody likes to see films, and then we would do the actual demonstration of the EVMs or the whatever was needed to do so. This character of Anandababu that was created in the film by Rupkala Kendro, which was titled Vote Jahare Koi, which means essentially what is vote and what is it all about and how does it look like from the inside. So Vote Jahare Koi, from this the persona of Anandababu was established, and we thought we should make it a tool for communication. Mind you, we were not allowed to, or we did not use any ad agency, any professional marketism, and from our own resources, we just had an idea that just like how P.D. Woodhouse's Jeeves, he has a solution for every problem. So likewise, we thought we would make Anandababu human face of the Election Commission in Bengal, especially so in Kolkata, because while in the districts, the district magistrate, the block development officer, and people are generally in touch with the administrative hierarchy, but in Kolkata, in say Goriahat or in Paikpara, people just wouldn't know whom to contact to for their n number of problems, which is, does my name figure in the voters list? And mind you, in those days, web and mobile and apps were not so popular. I'm talking of late 2008 and 2009. And therefore, we thought that we'll put what we now call today a helpline consisting of certain telephones all joined together in a hunting facility, and we would also get from the BSNL 1506 as the number, and we thought we'll put up a few hoardings around the city and try to say that if you had any poll related queries, mind you, there were a lot of poll related queries. My name is spelled wrong in the electoral voter identity card, what should I sue, or voter card, what should I do, what is my serial number, my father's name is not spelled correctly. You cannot imagine the number of queries that are handled in a routine fashion, and often they don't know what to do. Many of these phones would come to me, many of these queries, my friends and relatives would also come, can you please help this poor person? And it's pretty difficult in a state of about 8 crore people, and most of whom are also electors. So what we did is that we did this helpline, and who would run this helpline? As I've already said, that we wanted it from the start that there should be no professional agency, no budget was sanctioned, and therefore what we did was we got hold of a NGO. The NGO was called Pranto Katha, a very, very bright NGO, and we got a few of their volunteers, we trained them up, and we put them behind 6 hunted line, as they call it. If one phone is engaged, you are shifted to the another, and it was quite a degree of success. People were very happy to get to somebody to talk to who would listen, and therefore these queries, or at least how to solve the queries, you would know. We were very happy, but very soon we found that we had or underestimated the logistics. In the sense that so many number of phones started coming that we lost track, and many of them, more number of people would actually not get the lines in the helpline, could not talk to Anandababu, and a bit of frustration did take place. And later on, I would discover that the number of actual helps that we were able to deliver through this Anandababu helpline in the 3-month span of time, from there were around 17,000 people who were helped through this Anandababu helpline. And 4 times as much people, 4 times as many. This is the sad part of it. The 4 times as many people tried to get through, but the lines were jammed, or they called at times when the offices were closed. We declared upfront that it would only operate during office hours on office days, because it was very difficult to do a 24/7 kind of a helpline in those days. The story of Anandababu needed to be taken forward, and many years later, now in 2020, a decade later, avatar of sorts, 24/7 helpline in Newtown, Kolkata. We have installed a professional call center for helping in any kind of queries. We call it the Newtown 24/7 helpline, and I can tell you that this has been very, very successful, especially during the pandemic times of today, and many people keep on ringing, senior citizens and others, in the middle of the night. I need a medicine, I'm not feeling well, can you help me? And there is always a helpline that is professionally supported by a project management unit and NKDA and HITCO. Anandababu is no more, but the concept lingers.